Hello, everybody. My name is Ratnos, and welcome to Rashok the Elder. This is the fifth boss of the raid on the Dungeon Journal, and it's pretty sludge fisty. It's one boss that you hit, and it has a few mechanics that do quite a bit of damage, and there's quite a bit of raid damage, and there's a few other things, but mostly you just attack the man. So, what are these mechanics? Well, there's this Charge Smash. Now, Charge Smash is an interesting one. It deals 1.8 million Shadow Flame damage to everybody that's split between everybody that soaks it, and everyone that soaks it also gets a dot that is like 300k damage over 10 seconds. If you don't soak it, you instead just take a flat 250k damage, basically. And so we just basically had everybody always soaking them, and you take a little bit more damage in theory by doing that, but it's a lot safer. Nobody takes huge swings of damage. But in theory, you would take a little bit less damage if a few people stayed out. And then there's this slam mechanic. The boss will pick somebody, jump at them, do quite a bit of damage. That damage goes up. It also does a bunch of damage to the whole raid, and that damage ramps up over the fight as well. So in the later ones, it's very much defensive if you're being targeted, and maybe just defensive if you're not topped on those ones as well. And then it leaves behind these lava reservoirs. The lava reservoirs shoot out lava waves from time to time, but they also will all shoot out lava waves every time the boss does a searing slam here. So you can see it's coming out and then bang, a new one, and then all of them put out their searing or their lava waves. This is the Shadow Lava Blast. You just want to not stand in that. And then that also lets you know that the boss is approaching 100 energy, because the boss usually does that at like 90 energy. At 100 energy, the boss wipes you. So at 90 energy, you want to bring him into the very middle of the room. When you bring him into the middle of the room, he enters this intermission phase, which looks super cool. During this phase, there's these circles on the ground. You don't actually really have to dodge them. They don't do too much damage. But there's also a bunch of raid healing going on right now as well. So you can see we were dodging the circles, but I actually tanked some later. And even as they did very little damage to me, I think they don't do much damage to other people either. Although somebody did just die maybe to it there. So maybe I'm mistaken, and you do want to make sure you don't tank those circles too much, the swirlies. But other than that, it's just draining the boss's energy in the middle of the room. So you bring the boss into the middle of the room at 90 plus energy after the Shadow Lava Burst. Seemed like the best time to do it. Drain his energy, and then bang. So now you may be thinking, why aren't we stacking all the lava reservoirs right on top of each other? Because that would be the easiest way to handle that mechanic. Because if they are too close, like if the lava reservoirs touch, you wipe. They kill your raid. So we were instead trying to have them be sort of close, but not too close. Our idea was to kind of go around the room and have them be 10 yards apart and just keep doing that. But instead, a few of them got a little bit further away, so we actually came back over to where we started, and our plan was to put another one just right into the corner here. But the person targeted had a different plan of putting it over there instead. So we were like, all right, whatever, let's just get out of here. The way that you trigger the intermission phase is by bringing the boss right into the very middle of the room, this very middle circle that my raid frames are occluding right now there, that part. So you actually are safe to move in the slightly bigger circle in the middle of the room if you need to. And you need to make sure you don't bring the boss into the middle before this debuff falls off. You see it has a debuff. It gets that debuff for like 80 seconds or something after it goes in, and it will wipe you if you bring it in again during that time. So you can't go middle too often. But yeah, you can see what we're doing here. There's the next Shadow Lava Blast. Okay, that means that it's about time to go into the middle, and you can see that debuff is just about falling off. The debuff falls off. We bring the boss to the middle, and we enter the next intermission phase. And again, during this intermission phase, it's just raid damage. You can see it's moderately intense raid damage. It is a heroic fight that we were on now, not a mythic fight. I assume this is going to be giga nasty mythic raid damage once we get to that difficulty. But for now, we're just kind of chilling. There's no reason I can't be in melee here. I should be in melee attacking the boss. I was just being dumb and not being in melee, but I should be in melee attacking the boss. This was some good cinematic shots for the YouTube thumbnail. So the thumbnail probably is using some shots from this part of the fight here. So that was why I turned off my UI there for a sec. The other thing about this fight, it does a tank combo. The tank combo is a two-part combo that it's a 1 million fire damage hit and a 1 million physical damage hit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with tanking, 1 million physical damage is not particularly scary. 1 million fire damage is particularly scary. So you do want to make sure you have a defensive if you are taking the fire part of that combo. The same tank can actually take both. So here's that Flaming Upsurge. Hits me now. I use Ardent Defender and procced it to live that. And then Earthen Crush didn't do anything to me at all. It leaves behind for 40 seconds a debuff that makes you take 500% increased damage from the ability. So in theory, you would need a tank swap to make sure that you don't get the next tank combo to hit you. In practice, it actually often fell off before the next tank combo already, depending on the order that it cast in. And also, you could bop off the physical part and pre-AMS to not get the magic part of that debuff. So in practice, I think a Blood DK with like 2 Paladins in the raid with bop would be enough to solo tank this fight as is. That might be something that gets changed, though, before it comes out. And then, yeah, you can see there's that Earthen Crush and Flaming Surge combo, the AMS for the Flaming Crush, and just not much for the Earthen, and it was very, very free. And then, so yeah, you're running out of room. Here, watch the raid frames. You can see everybody takes quite a bit of damage now each time the boss does one of those slams and spawns a new reservoir. There's also more and more lava, so that's sort of the soft enrage of the fight. Eventually, you're definitely going to just run out of space. But we didn't come particularly close to that here on testing. Don't think too much about the health values, though, on testing. They often have them quite undertuned in terms of health so that you actually test all the mechanics and see all the fight. But that was what this fight was all about. It was quite fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a nice Sludge Fist style, patchwork plus encounter with relatively few but quite dangerous mechanics if they were done wrong. And then presumably there will be the space for them to focus this on throughput. So that was Rashok. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.